Hi, this is Jeff Brandler, and welcome to a special edition of Brandler Bits. I was pleased to be a guest on the Friends in Recovery podcast sponsored by Genesis House in Florida. My topic for the day was talking about fear and anxiety. Listen to this very exciting interview conducted by Ed Chancho. In this interview, we address many aspects of dealing with anxiety, including some cognitive, some behavioral, and some experiential methods. Thanks for listening.
Dr. Jeff Brandler, Dr. Jeff Brandler is our guest today. He's a licensed marriage and family therapist, certified addiction specialist, substance abuse professional. He's a national board certified clinical hypnotherapist, a chapter advisor for the Depression Bipolar Support Alliance. Jeff has been working in the counseling field for 35 years. He works primarily with adults. He also has a podcast, which we're going to get into that a little bit later. I'll skip over that. His website is changespossible.org. His office is located in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey. He can be reached at 973-402-2647. And he's on all kinds of social media. Jeff, welcome.
Thanks for having me. That was an interesting story about the garbage before.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was I felt like it was relevant. I mean, there's people out there struggling, and here we are quarantined in our comfy little homes, trying not to go out, and it's hard not to go to the store or the gym and stuff. And then all of a sudden this morning, I get reminded that there are people out there struggling with bigger things than me, and they face more difficult challenges than whether or not they should go to the park today.
Yes. Yeah.
Hence gratitude is one of the keys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's, listen, and we all have our struggles and we have to, but can you imagine, and this is what we're going to touch base on with Jeff, is the fear and anxiety of trying to find your next meal, or maybe he was going to use that for kindling to keep himself warm. I mean, can you imagine that stress? And then if you don't have the wherewithal to call a person like Jeff, or even Sweets, you and I, when we talk in the studio, before the meeting, before the podcast, that helps too. I know it helps me. I'm sure it helps you too. Can you imagine just, God, the poor guy. Well, I'm going to say a prayer for him tonight. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeff, how have you been? You're a returning guest. You're our first returning guest on
That's
the show.
Awesome.
You're making history on Friends in Recovery podcast.
It is a momentous occasion that I am the first and only returning guest.
That's right. And only right now, anyways. We might run out of guests. I have to recycle some because you like us. But
so far.
Yeah, so far. Yes.
So far.
Yes.
Don't push it.
So Jeff's a licensed marriage and family therapist, an addiction specialist. The way I met Jeff was through the field, and him and I do some business together. And he's just an excellent therapist up in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey. I figured, because you specialize in fear and anxiety, I figured just bring you on because of this crazy pandemic stuff. And, you and I talk, and, I have all these fears about everything. And, you helped me through some things. And, I think connecting with a therapist such as you nowadays is hugely important.
One of the things, when the pandemic first hit, there were people who were like, this is no big deal. And then you had the people that were, wait, this is like the end of the world. And so people have kind of settled into their comfort zones of having the ebbs and flows of, this is bad, it's not bad, this is bad, this is not bad. And then you have the next wave, which we're about to see. Now that we're opening up the world, what does that mean? And now we're going to be back to, how's this going to work out? If I can go to the park, does that mean I'm going to get sick? If I can go to the golf course, what's going to, right? So this is unprecedented. Typically people have their, as I like to say, their fears based in fact and fears based in fear. Right. And typically that's how it works. Fear-based in fact, something happens, you have a reaction to it, fear. You just have some other kind of fear, as we all do, and just like whatever. So this pandemic is like a little of both. because we know that there are thousands upon thousands of people who die and get sick, and the statistics are just staggering. And then we have okay, but if I don't leave my house, what is the chances that I'm going to get this virus? Which is zero.
Well, that's
right?
not quite true yet, Jeff. Have you seen the statistics? I don't mean to cut you off. The statistics that people who are not leaving their house are really susceptible. They're in a higher ranking to get this disease, this virus right now.
Because they're not washing their hands. They're not washing down packages. They're not,
they're not taking precautions as if somebody was in the real world. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But if you're going to, if most people, the people that are staying home exclusively, they probably have read everything. And that's the other part of the anxiety. You can watch the virus channel 24/7, and the media does a great job of giving you little snippets about things that just get you scared. Remember, like about a month ago, there was the Tylenol, Advil. If you take Advil and you get the viruses, right? So we get this little snippet, which gets everybody crazy, and everybody goes, "Oh, this is bad," and then the story dies.
Yes.
And that, so when you watch the media, as if you're home a lot, what are you going to do? You want to know the latest, you got to see the update. Those kinds of things contribute to the ebb and flow of anxiety. And I've had a number of people say, I was okay until I heard that, whatever that is. Or, I didn't think it was a big deal until they said you can't fly anymore. Or I didn't think it was a big deal until, they closed the parks. And so, there is so much anxiety that we all have. And as we, try to work this out, you have lots of people. Someone said to me, well, what's it going to be, when I go back to school in September? I said, if you know that answer, you got lots of money you can
give us the answer, right?
Yeah. Right? Because, boy, if you can predict the future, I want to talk to you.
I know. Well, you know what? Go ahead. Oh, Sweets, you were going to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I've heard, I like what you're saying about when does it become real to people, and I think that I've actually seen, a lot on social media. I saw a lot of people who were like, is this real? Does anyone know anyone that's gone through this? And, you've got conspiracy theories like the Plandemic, which is, this new YouTube video that everybody's watching. And, there's tons of information out there that can counter the facts that people are being thrown. And I think it leads them to a place of confusion and uncertainty. Am I at risk of corona, or am I at risk of being taken advantage of? And which one's worse? Or are both happening? Am I just totally screwed? And so there's a lot of fear and anxiety on top of the natural fear and anxiety that they should be experiencing from a pandemic.
Well, I think to add to that, Sweets, Jeff, the media, you just said something about the media. I do not watch any news. I do not. I listen to my Alexa in the morning. I ask her for the news, and that is all I get for the news. It gives me very brief, quick snippets of the news, and that is it. I did turn the news on the other day. I woke up early and I turned the news on like 4:30 in the morning. And listen, I watch it for 20 minutes. I was ready to jump off the fucking roof. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how anybody can watch the news all day long and not go into a panic attack or think that the world's going to end. I listened for 20 minutes and it just drove me nuts, So yes. That adds to our fear and anxiety too, I imagine.
Yes. As I say, stay 6 feet away from the news.
I like that.
It's like, just keep that,
Yeah.
The only news that I've allowed myself to watch is the Euro news, because it's what's going on in Europe, which is a little different than what's going on in the United States. But on the Euro news, you get important stories like, I don't know if you know this, there is a surplus of potatoes in Belgium because they can't export French fries.
Ah.
And of course, I would be willing to help them with that surplus if they want to do that. But but these are the important stories of the day.
Yeah. You gave a statistic at one of our webinars about when you mentioned French fries, about the comfort foods. Can you give that quick statistic while you were talking about French fries real quick? I know it's off the topic, but
so everybody, so the number one food on delivery services is French fries. That's the number one comfort food. But alcohol sales are up like 241% online. 44% of people have started online gambling accounts. So we know that people are just desperately trying to find some way to numb this out.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're going to take a quick break here. I was just getting a high sign to take the break. And when we come back, let's get a little bit more into comfort foods, how that can go right or wrong for us. And I also want to talk to you about the hypnotist, the hypnotherapy. That's also fascinating. So everybody, we'll be right back. Friends in Recovery podcast. We're going to take a break and see you on the other side. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Friends in Recovery podcast. I am not the Podfather. I'm Jersey Ed, along with our producer, the wonderful producer, Sweets.
Yeah, making you guys sound good even from home.
That's right. That's right. And our guest, Jeff Brandler, Dr. Jeff Brandler out of Mountain Lake, New Jersey. Real quick, I'm going to need a drum roll here, Sweets. Thank you. It is time now for Jersey Ed. We should do the drum roll. Just have it keep going through the whole thing, because I think so? That wasn't the right. Yeah, that wasn't the right spot for the drum roll, was it?
Well, why don't you just go ahead and read it, pause, and I'll hit you with a drum roll.
There you go. Okay. So Jersey Ed's podcast pick of the week. You can see we really think out this show, huh?
Yeah,
totally.
It's well planned. So Jersey Ed's podcast pick of the week is, thank you, Brandler's Bits. Host Dr. Jeff Brandler, who is our guest today, is a short 5 to 6 minute podcast. These bits cover many topics, including feelings, coping strategies, addiction, grief, and relationships. You can find Brandler's Bits podcast at changeisimpossible.org and anywhere you get your podcasts from. If you go to Jeff's website, it's all there. And do you have anything to add to that, Jeff, or did I do pretty good?
I would say that the reason that I'm only doing 5 to 6 minutes is I think that maximizes that people are going to listen to it.
Yes.
I have some 20-minute podcasts, and the stats said that people were listening to 10 minutes of it. So it didn't make any sense. Let me just go in, do my topic, call it a day, and then people have something usable that they can take home. They can listen to it. They can continue to listen to it. And it's quick, it's short, it's fast. And the response that I got is people love it a whole lot better than going through 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or
trying to get to the end of it and figure out what the results are. And I agree, they're really good bits, and they get right to the point, and you can use them. Like you said, you can use them throughout the day. So check out Brandler's Bits at his website, changeisimpossible.org, or anywhere you get your podcast picks from. So
Spotify, Jeff, iTunes, all those places.
iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. So, before the break, Jeff, we were talking about comfort foods, and I also want to talk about the hypnotherapy. So the comfort foods, what does that do for us? Does that relieve anxiety and depression? Does that do anything for us? And is it good? Does it turn bad? Can it be good? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, all addictive behaviors are quick fix Band-Aids. So eating, drinking, drugging, gambling, spending, relationships, sex, they're all quick fix Band-Aids. They all work. In the moment, they work. The problem is if I have a bowl of cereal or a bowl of ice cream and if I have anxiety, I'm going to be anxious an hour later or 2 hours later, and I'm just putting the Band-Aid on. So all the addictive behaviors are great. But like all things that are quick fixes, they come back.
Yeah.
And then they grow a life of their own. And then we get in, so I had 1 bowl of cereal. Now I'm having 2 bowls of cereal. Now I'm 3 bowls of cereal. Let me wash that down. So it's the same.
Yeah.
And so all addictive behavior becomes all addictive behavior. It just have progression and things get worse. And then, and wow, I've gained 15 pounds since the pandemic started. I can't figure out why. Yes, that meal you're having at 4:00 in the morning might have something to do with it.
That is true. That is
yes.
true. So, but the comfort foods can help us get through, take the edge off a little bit, as long as we don't go into the deep, 3 or 4 bowls of cereal, wash it down with a candy bar.
I mean, there's nothing better than, crashing the system with a little bit of sugar, knocks you out, puts you to sleep, and then the day's over.
Yeah.
The problem is most people can't do that.
Yes. Yeah.
So, a little is never enough.
Yeah.
2 cookies isn't 2. It's 3. Now it's 4. Now it's 5. Before
A whole
it's
package
a sleeve.
of cookies.
Before it's another pack, right? So that's the problem. And because we're cooped up, we have lots of time, and I just okay, let me nibble on this and nibble on this and nibble on this and nibble on this, and before you know it, I've nibbled on everything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've been living in a diet of these little almond things, so it's kind of a little measurement, and I just eat it, and that's it, or some handful of peanuts here and there. There is really not much to do besides eat, and if you're working from home,
Mm-hmm.
So you got to really be careful of it. And exercise too, I'm sure, is excellent for
exercise is perfect. And again, all the things that make sense, drinking liquids. Okay, let me say that better. Drinking water throughout the day. A lot of people be going and getting vodka. Drinking liquids throughout the day, like water, keeps you more full. And then your temptation to want to eat, I'm full, I don't want to eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find other ways to manage your anxiety. So therefore, because it's an inside thing, right? Your anxiety is here.
Yeah.
It's not, it's here and here, but it's here. And so those butterflies start going, you start feeling anxious, and, you get all that extra energy. So then if you just treat it nicely on the inside, do some breathing, and then all of a sudden, okay, it's better.
Yeah, exactly. And so the breathing, real quick, let's touch on that, and then I want to touch on the hypnotherapy. So the breathing exercises, I do that every morning. I'll sit in a quiet place and I'll do a minute of breathing. That really works, and that's that. You gave me that. You told me about that, and I use that. I do listen to things you say. So, but
you're a rarity.
Talk about that a little bit, about the breathing, how this can help us out in this time, especially for addicts and alcoholics to get through those crazy thoughts.
Yes. A long time ago, I learned that you take inhales, big inhales, and then exhale was just something that gets you to the next inhale, which is actually incorrect.
Okay.
The correct way to breathe to calm down is to take long inhales and a very long exhale. So you want to push all the air out of your diaphragm, almost so you can make a whoosh sound on the back end, because that calms down your parasympathetic nervous system. Look that one up. And then what that does is just kind of, so if you were to take 2 breaths, right, just right now, take a nice slow inhale, and then push all the air out, and then repeat that, magic will happen.
It feels like you're blowing it all out. It just relieves like that. You feel your shoulders right down through your feet when you do it.
Exactly. So magic happens when you do that. That's
does.
2 breaths.
Yep.
Right? Add 4 breaths. Find the exercise, which is called the 4-7-8 breathing by Andrew Weil. You can find the video. That's also on my website. I just put that up because he does a great job with this. And it's 4 breaths, hold it for 7, repeat 8 times. So hence the 4-7-8. 4-7-8 is like the standard, because anybody who does that is going to be totally chill when they're done.
Yeah. Yeah. You had on our webinar, you had us doing a breathing exercise for about 5 minutes.
Yep.
And I was getting emails from people saying, I fell asleep in a good way. This was good. I was relaxed. And even afterwards at some of our meetings afterwards at Genesis House does the Friends in Recovery meetings, the 12-step meetings. They were even talking about it there too. They really enjoyed that. So hypnotherapy, how can this help in any situation, any stressful or alcoholic or addict's life? Is that possible?
Totally. Hypnotherapy, the best part about hypnotherapy is that you go to another place, not literally. Your mind goes to another place. So if I'm particularly anxious here, and I go to the beach over here, and I'm picturing myself on a beach, and I'm feeling the sun coming in and the breeze, and I hear the ocean coming in, and I put myself there, and I'm feeling all that. Well, magic is going to happen because your mind and your body are going to work together and you're going to be at the beach.
Yeah.
The 360 panorama exercise
Yes.
that we did during the webinar,
Yeah.
that's the essence of breathing, going to your calm, peaceful place, and just looking around to where you are, looking straight, looking to the right, looking to the left, looking up, and looking down. And so if you do that in a much slower way than I just described it,
mm-hmm.
and just allow yourself to absorb where you are, your body and your brain is going to slow down. Hence, people have those great reactions. The woman said, that I cured her headache. I mean, right afterwards, and then people felt relaxed. And because again, we have untapped potential in our minds. Hypnotherapy, the best part in any way is that it allows us to find those places to slow down, untap the potential, get pretty chill, and just literally use mind over matter.
Yeah. And that works. I mean, I've been in sessions with you where we've done that and it really works. I mean, but you have to keep practicing it. It's not like you're going to walk into your office or be on a webinar and you're going to be cured and life's going to be, roses and fucking, daisies all day long. So
I record all my sessions of hypnosis and tell people to practice, listen to the recording every day, because it's the reinforcement that makes it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, back in the day, when the world was different, people would go to the MRI and they can't bring their phone into the MRI, but they knew the drill.
Yep.
So they knew it. So it was all ready, and they just would go to the MRI and they'd go to their place, and before you know it, they're out of the MRI, not anxious at all. And
yeah. It's just like your website says, change is possible. And it's just change of thought, change your mind. That's basically what it is. And that's what we're doing.
And again, the more you practice anything, breathing, hypnosis, meditation, the more you practice it, the better it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are people who, want to send me an email about doing hypnosis, I've been doing hypnosis over Zoom, which, is not ideal and it's not optimum, but it's working.
It is. Yeah.
And I've done a couple of sessions this week that have been like, people saying, that was amazing. How did he do that? What happened? And they're amazed themselves at what happened. Right. I'm always amazed, but they're amazed. How did that come up? How did that happen? How did I get so relaxed? What did you do? I'm like, I just talked.
just talked, and that was it.
So
real quick, a quick kind of feel good exercise before we go here, and just something that they can get out of themselves real quick. I know you explained a few of them, but what's your quick 1 minute exercise that you think would work well for our listeners here?
I would say take some breaths, focus on your breathing, and just go to a calm, peaceful place. Find that place that it's calm, serene, relaxing, a place that you've been, or even better, a place that you haven't. There's a client of mine who is in recovery who has invented a beach house. The beach house does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
It does in her mind. That's her place. Cool. She goes to the beach house when she needs to take a time out. So go to your place, whether real or imagined, fantasy, doesn't matter. Go to your place, be there, soak in all the sensory things that are there. Hearing, sight, sound, mind, smell, taste. Bring all the senses there. Just sit there. Do it for a minute. Just let it be, and just be there in that minute with that place.
Yeah.
And you'll slow down, and you'll be less anxious.
Slow down. Well, Dr. Jeff Brandler, you're an amazing guy. I learn a lot from you every time I talk to you and see you, and I hope our listeners and viewers will definitely get more. And real quick, let them know how they can get a hold of you if they're in Jersey, if they want to do a session with you, or just talk. How can they get a hold of you?
Easiest way, go to my website, www.changeispossible.org. Hit the contact right on top. Send me an email. That's probably the easiest, because, who wants to talk to anybody on the phone?
Exactly.
Just send the email. I'll get back to you. We can talk, figure out what we need to do. And, the other thing, let me just note, hypnotherapy is not a long-term therapy. The reason I like it so much. I've seen people for one session. Okay, do this, do the practice. Let me know how you're doing.
Yeah.
Do we need to meet? No, done.
Yeah.
So sometimes 1 or 2 sessions,
and you're good,
solves the problem.
Yeah. Well, you have to practice it. Anything, just
Absolutely.
practice. So, absolutely. Well, Jeff, thank you very much. Hopefully, you'll be another recurring guest. If you look early into our shows, maybe with the first or second show, you can hear more of Jeff's interview that we did probably on anxiety and fear way back when. It was about 2 years ago. So scroll through it and listen to that show and listen to this show, and we'll have you on again.
Great. Always
Thanks.
a good time to hang with you guys.
That's right. Got to get a cigar next time.
No, then I'm Groucho Marx.
Jeff, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you for listening to this special edition of Brandler Bits. It was a great opportunity to be a guest on the podcast with friends in recovery. I look forward to going back there again. If you'd like to reach me about any questions or comments about today's show, feel free to do so at my website, www.changeispossible.org. This is Jeff Brandler. There'll be some more Brandler Bits coming up next week.